Hello punters and welcome to a Saturday Racing Preview, and of course in this video we're looking at the Group 1 Memsie Stakes Raceday tomorrow at Caulfield. Absolute bumper card where we've got a good forward track, which is fantastic. Really good that the conditions have dried out and we're in for a really big race day tomorrow. The rail is going to be in the true position and the previous rail being out 9 metres, so fantastic that we get that rail into the true position. I think it's going to race quite fairly, which is obviously excellent. We're probably going to be seeing the best horses on the day win each race, and that's what we can always want to hope for as racing fans and as punters alike. So obviously if you're new here, obviously please give me a like on the video, comment any of your thoughts down below on what you think, any feedback, any runners that you like, or anything that I might have picked out that you, I guess, agree with, or anything that you're on as well. I'm really interested to hear all your thoughts out there and who you're liking for the race tomorrow, particularly the Group 1 Memsie Stakes, which is a bumper edition. We're really looking forward to that. But obviously, along with the Memsie Stakes, there is some other terrific races on the card. We're looking at the Cochran Stakes in race number 10. Fantastic. We've got a 10-race card as well. Isn't that fantastic? But the more races, the better for us, I say. We've got the listed Heatherley Stakes in race number 8. And then we've got the Group 3 McNeil Stakes in race number 7 to look forward to as well. So really looking forward to that. And then the Group 3 Heath, which is going to see the exciting Superstorm for the Grant and Alana Williams in the Bobbs Peters colours go around, which I'm really looking forward to seeing it go up against some real top liners with the likes of Liar, Hummer, Diamond Effort, Prophet's Thumb, and Dollar for Dollar coming around in that type of race. So it's going to be a really good race card, competitive meeting, and as such, there's plenty of winners to be found as well, which is what we like to do, and we like to, I guess, that part of what we love in racing and punting alike. So if you are new here, like I said, subscribe would be really appreciated. Getting really close to that 100 mark. I really thank all of you guys that have supported me so far, whether you've been here from the start or whether you've joined along the way. I really appreciate it so much. It's really been massive for me, and it's been something I really enjoy doing. I enjoy putting out this my in-depth look into each race and my knowledge out to you guys to then be able to make your own decisions in what you want to punt on. That's basically the gist of this video for anyone who is new here. It's not, this has never been about me telling you who's going to win and who's certain to win, because that's never going to happen, but it's more about me presenting the knowledge and what I've looked into the card and allowing you guys to sort of make your own decisions. You guys are all well capable punters and racing fans out there, and I know that you guys all know your stuff and as much as I do, and this is the beauty of this sport, and it's why we love it so much, and it's so exciting. So we're going to get straight into the program tomorrow. Like I said, good forward track. Race number 1 on the program at Caulfield is a 2,400 metre race. Only a small field, only the 5 to go around. A couple of scratchings in this one, but looking at the speed map, I suggest that Tabby Run will find the top, with Miramar not far behind, and Exemplar, and I think Persan and WT will probably roll towards the back of the field. Now, I'm going to try and roll this video through this video as quick as possible, because I do apologise for bringing it out really late tonight. Hopefully a few of you can get on and watch this in time for tomorrow, so I really do apologise. So I'm going to try and get through as quick as possible, waste as little of your time as possible. And to be honest, I might even actually, if I get through this card quick enough, it is 10 races, so it is going to take a little bit longer, but I'm going to try and actually squeeze this and the meeting at Rose Hill into this one video. If I can't do so, I apologise, but I'm going to try to get it all into one video, so it's nice and quick, easy viewing for you guys out there that are watching. So look, with race number 1, I'm landing with WT here. I was very keen on it last week at Moonee Valley before, of course, that meeting was abandoned. I just think that this horse is building towards a win, is getting really... had a couple of belting runs in its last 2 races. I mean, its second at Flemington in particular behind Exemplar was a real nice run. And looking at it from that run, Exemplar's gone up from 56.5 kilos up to 60 in this race here, whereas WT has only got up 1.5 kilos. So it's a 2 kilo weight swing. I think that'll be enough to draw it back into the favour of WT. It's obviously run well here at the track before, which is a positive, and doesn't mind... a good surface as well, to be honest. It's actually probably runs a little bit better on top of the ground than it does in the wet, even though it's quite a consistent galloper. So he goes on top for me. Number 2, WT at the $5.50, ahead of number 5, Persan, who's this is a big test for him now. He's obviously a 4-year-old now, and he's coming up against these older, more experienced staying horses, but he's got a stack of ability, and we've seen that throughout this winter months. He's been terrific. He does come into this, though, with that little bit of weight swing. Obviously, he gets a bit of weight relief with having the 56 kilos, so that works in his favour. He's really good at... he's had the place in this track before, and he's obviously in great form. The only concern with him is that all his wins so far during the winter have come on wet tracks. He now comes back on top of the ground, which he did have a placing on last start here at Caulfield behind High Emotion, and he carried 62 kilos on that occasion. So he got through it okay, but he has had 9 starts on top of the ground for 0 wins and 3 placings. So it is a little bit of a concern for me, especially when he's paying $2.35. So for me, he's a second pick, but I probably wouldn't be able to dive into him at that price. In for third, I do have number 1 Exemplar, obviously in terrific form, but similarly to Persan. All of his last couple of wins have been on wet going, and now he comes back on top of the ground, which he doesn't perform as well on. But I still think he'll run well. I don't think he'll be able to do as well as WT with that weight swing, and obviously it going from that soft condition on to back on top of the ground, which seems to suit WT a little bit more. So Exemplar goes in for third, obviously in great winning form though. And in number 4, I've got in for fourth, number 4 Tavi Run, who it really does enjoy running here at Caulfield. They have 5 starts for 3 wins at the track, and 1 from 1 at the distance. So I think this horse is knocking on the door as well. I was very keen on that last start at Moonee Valley, where he went too early, unfortunately. Young Tommy Stockdale, he went and raced clear, looked to be home, but then just tied at the bend of Amadeus and Polly Gray. Run it down. There's no Amadeus in this race here, so if he's able to I guess, roll at a bit of a more even tempo, he probably could have the fitness now to last this time round, and I think that he could run a good race. So he's not without a chance at the $3.30. But look, I just think that WT is a really good price here for me. I'm going to go with it on top at the $5.50. I think that's the best betting option in the race. And at number 5, Persan in for second. In for third, I've got number 4 Tavi Run, and in for fourth, number 1 Exemplar. Moving on to race number 2 on the program, 1100 metre benchmark 78 race here. Pretty good size field here. We've got what have we got here? We've got 14 runners in this race here, and obviously it's spearheaded by the exciting Windstorm at the top of the market at $2.60 is a favourite. Look at the speed map just real quick here. I think there'll be quite a lot of pace here. I think that Rulership and Legionnaire will be the 2 that find the front, but a Good Yarn definitely likes to get up towards the pace, so it'll be up there humming as well, as will Riddle Me That. But I'm expecting just an even tempo. The likes of Express Pass and Windstorm will be dropping back towards the end, and they'll be hoping for a decent tempo to bring them into the race. But look, I thought Rulership was great value here at the $8. I thought that it really does get a bit of a weight relief, comes down to 56 kilos. Last start, it had the 56 as well, but in a pretty strong race that one was, in the 3-year-old race there. And he obviously is coming up against some of the older horses here, which I really like. I like that Peter and Paul Snowden have thrown him into this type of race with these weight swing, and he's just going to be up on pace, and I don't really see him being challenged too much. Like I said, I only think that Legionnaire, and who is first up coming into this race, and also a Good Yarn, that they'll be up there challenging, but I think that he's got the natural speed to hold them out, and then also to be able to kick away from them, especially with, like I said, no disrespect to a Good Yarn, but he's not quite the horse that Rulership is, and neither is, and obviously Legionnaire, who I do think is a very good chance, which I'll speak about in a second, but obviously is first up. I just think that this horse here, Rulership, will have the burn, and will be able to win second up here at a track that he obviously has run well at before, including a good run in the Blue Diamond and the Prelude this earlier in the autumn. So Rulership on top for me, the 3-year-old colt at $8. He's my on top selection. And of number 12, Legionnaire, who I think is well over the odds, and I think will run a good race up on the speed with Rulership. Obviously, Damien Oliver's a key jockey booking for this horse. First up, and look, it won some really good races last preparation. Beat a horse called Snap Dancer, obviously then came out and subsequently won a fair few races. So was in terrific form at that time, over 1,400 metres at Flemington. Finished second to a horse called Hilo, who's very smart as well, at Sandown Lakeside over 1,200. Finished fourth to the Holy One, who's a subsequent Group 2 and Group 3 horse in the, and even ran in the Group 1. What race was it? It was the... Yeah, that the Holy One actually ended up going to the Rose Hill Guineas. That was the race I was trying to think of, and obviously finished fourth to Castle Vecchio. So, look, really, Legendaire's got the right form lines here to suggest it can run a really good race first up, and has placed twice from 2 first up runs as well. So, $15, really nice price about Legionnaire. They're probably 2 horses that I'll probably have a bit of an each way spec on both. So they are my 2 on top selections. Windstorm goes for third. really respect this horse. I noted it down when it was running over in WA, and obviously he's a real group horse in the making, and he runs really good time and has some terrific centrals, and he can let down really nicely. Liam Riordan gets the ride here, so really good for Liam, and he gets his opportunity. Obviously, Grant and Lada Williams have elected the claim rather than go with their normal jockey with Willie Pike. So it is interesting having Liam Riordan on, and for me, it's probably a little query. No disrespect to Liam, it's just the fact that it's a new jockey for the horse, and he's going to have to. Yeah, he's going to be challenged because, let's be honest, he's going to be back in the field, and I could see him being buried sort of in the middle of a pack. So he's going to have to really ride him quite well to get him out in clear air and let him let down and try and chase down the leaders. And even with that 2 kilo claim, he's still carrying 60 kilos. So he goes in for third for me. It's a bit of a watch and wait for him to do it for me. And then in for fourth, I've got number 3, Riddle Me That, who's a horse who's got a lot of time for it, is a really good horse, and it's got a good fresh record. 3 starts for 2 wins first up. Obviously last prep won some good races, beating Score at Bendigo in the Guineas there, and then second to Spend at Flemington, and also then beat Paperboy as well on Pakenham. So it's not as elite as some of the other form in this race, but I do respect how good this horse is. But 6.5 kilos weight at Barrier 19 first up is quite difficult, but is a decent price, considering I think the horse is quite a good type. The other chance in the race I did leave out of my top 5 is Express Pass. I was extremely impressed with its first up performance. Really, I was on it that day at Bendigo and really won quite nicely there. And it comes in this second up, which he is a horse that's much better first up than he is second up. He tends to obviously run really well fresh, and he hasn't had too many runs in his obviously last preparation. He had the 2 runs in his prep, so just that little bit concerned for me at the $5. I was expecting him to probably put that field away first up a little bit better than what he did, but it was still a good performance because he did have to knuckle down. He was a long way back, and Acumen did get away on that occasion. So I was impressed with the performance, but he's going to have to lift, especially at $5 in a race like this. But look, recap the numbers for me. I am keen on number 16, Rulership on top, ahead of number 12, Legionnaire for second. But like I said, I'll be having a bit of an each-way play on both of those. Number 1, Windstorm in for third, and in for fourth, number 3, Riddle Me That. Moving into race number 3 now. It's a 1400 metre benchmark 90 race, and look at the speed map here. I think that there'll be a fair bit of pace here. I think Gamay off the inside barrier will try and roll forward out of the park. Laburnum Acting will definitely roll forward. 1000 Wishes will be up there. South Bank usually likes to roll towards the pace, as does El Questro. So they've got barriers number 14, 15 and 16 respectively. So they're going to have to they're going to have to hope for a little bit of luck or roll into a decent enough spot here. But look, I'm very interested in this horse in My Gold Bracelet for the Mick Price, Mike Kent Jr. start. It's come across from New Zealand. Looks to have some seriously good ability. It's only ever had runs on dead tracks and soft tracks. So that for me is a bit of a query, I suppose. Just having a look. The jump out was quite good. I was quite impressed with its recent jump out. It's obviously a Group 2 winner over New Zealand, so it has its fair share of ability, and I love the jockey booking of Mark Zahra. And I just think that the race looks to set up really nicely. So if this horse does have the ability that it is expected to have, I think that it's got a very nice chance of running well here. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 14, Affair to Remember, who returns to the racetrack, and really keen to see how she will run first up. I think she's got obviously immense ability. She was really good last preparation. Finished third in obviously the Adelaide Derby behind Toffee Tongue and the Oaks there on that occasion, and that was a terrific run. So she is looking for a bit further, but I do think she can run well enough first up. So she goes in for second. In for third, I was very keen on number 5, Benatoire, while the track was a soft track. But now that we've gone back onto that firmer going, I'm not as keen on him, but I still think that he's well over the odds because, she's got a lot of ability, and we've seen that. Last preparation, she didn't really put it together, but before that, she was winning some very nice races. So, look, I'm interested in her. I just think that Ben Mellum as well, key jockey booking, $20 odds is just probably a little bit overs for me. So, not as keen as I was when the track was a soft 5, soft 6, but I am still think that she can run a good enough race. And the other one that I like is number 1, One More Try. Now, she's got a bit of weight to carry. Liam Riordan's 2 kilo claim does bring her down the weights a little bit, but again, a horse that I think can run well enough first up here. It was around some good form lines last preparation as well, including a third to Jamaican Rain at Sandown and Sweet Scandals. That was in the Sandown Oh, I want to have it. It was on Sandow's main race day, so that was a good race. My apologies for not knowing that off the top of my head, but yeah, look, she's got ability as well, and I just think that $35 as well overs on her as well. I think this is a very open race, and that's why I've I guess looked at a few options here. It's a very good betting race, and number 7, obviously My Gold Bracelet. I'm just taking off the bit of spruik about her, and obviously I think that she's got some fair share of ability from what I saw from the jump out. So I've got her on top ahead of number 14, Fair to Remember. In for second, number third, in for third, number 5, Benetwire, and in for fourth, number 1, One More Try. Moving on to race number 4 on the program now, and it is the MRC members tips to handicap. And not a bad little field here. Looking at the speed map, I'd suggest that Sir Galahad, Simply Invincible, probably roll up there, and Yulong January. I think they're probably just going to be the main speed factors. Morrissey might roll up for an inside barrier, as will Innkeeper maybe to press the issue. Look, I'm very keen to go with number 7, I Am Superman here for the Peter and Paul Stone team. Mark Zara in the saddle. I think this horse got a good chance first up here. I was impressed with its recent trials, especially the one most recent where it beat Rapido Shapara, who basically led the trial up, and I'm Superman basically glided past it there. I was impressed with that performance. And the second in the trial previous to that was to Missile Mantra, who's a pretty smart horse as well. So, look, this horse has all the right preparation, all the right form going into this race here, and I just think that can run a pretty bold race first up. So it's my on top selection, number 7, I Am Superman, ahead of number 6, Nonconformist, who I think is a very good price at $6. I'm expecting this horse to run a really good race first up. He was terrific last preparation. He won some good races. Finished second at Adelaide Ace. He beat Brazen Song, who was in good form at that time, and then beat Adelaide Ace subsequently at Moonee Valley of 2,040 metres. So I do concede that he'll be looking for a bit further, but I do think he'll run a bold race first up at the $6, so he's in for second. If the third, number 11, Simply Invincible now, I think this horse can run well first up here, even though the stats don't suggest it. It's 5 starts first up for 0 wins and 2 placings, but now in the care of Peter Moody, he's got a horse going around later on in the program called In Good Health, who I also do give a bit of a chance for, so there's a little bit of a spoiler alert there, but this horse profile is pretty similar to In Good Health, has plenty of ability, and coming in for the new stable, Peter Moody just seems to get these type of horses back on the track, and ones that really have lost their way. And you could say this horse hasn't really lost its way. It has been some time since his last run. His last run was back in March 2019, so he is obviously going to be a little bit raw first up, and he's going to take improvement out of the run. But he's a horse who beat Grey Worm once by over Flemington over 1,400 metres. And so, look, I mean, that type of form could see him be pretty competitive here at $29. And what is really interesting to me is that he was nominated to run at Sandown on Wednesday, but Peter Moody scratched him for this race. So, tougher race. And I do think that there is something to that he thinks obviously Simply Invincible might be a bit of a chance first up. So, he goes in for third for me. But I will be very query, and I might have a bit of an each-way spec onto Simply Invincible. And the other one that I don't mind as well is number 4, Yulong January, who has the wide barrier to contend with, but I think will really appreciate getting back on top of the ground, which it has 12 starts on a good track for 6 wins and 3 placings. So for me, coming off a soft track run last start where it finished 5th to home of the Brave and Great again, which is a pretty decent drop in class to come into a race like this now. And I think he can run a good race as well, second up in this, and I've got him in for my 4th selection. Other chances, well, look, Reykjavik's having a bit of a drop in class, and he'll probably appreciate getting back on top of the ground as well, so he's got a chance. And the other one that I don't mind as well either is obviously Ocean X, who I think can run well enough first up as obviously we'll be looking for a lot further, but has placed over this distance a couple of times before, so could run a bold race at $18. I'm not overly sold on Morrissey. I know that he's been running well throughout this, basically the last few races, and he does have a massive step down in grade. He obviously took on Group 2 Weight for Age Company last start, but I don't know, just not sold on him for me. I think 420 is just that little bit short. There's a couple others in this race that I'm a bit more optimistic about. He does have a chance, but I just think there's a few others I like ahead of him personally. Look, just to recap the numbers for me, I'm counting number 7, I Am Superman here. I think this horse can run a good race first up. Ahead of number 6, Nonconformist, in for second. In for third, I've got number 11, Simply Invincible. Very good watch on it. I think it's got a good chance. And in for fourth, I've got number 4, Yulong January. Move on to race number 5 now in the program, 2,000 metre race here over, and it's the Ned's Boost, Price Boost Quality handicap. I'm looking at the speed map here. I'd suggest that Young Rascal will probably find the top. Shabao, Lord Durante. Now, obviously, a lot of these horses were meant to run last week at Moonee Valley before the meeting was cancelled. So, interesting race here, and I think that I'm going to land with... look, I was keen on Young Rascal until the rain came down, eased up, and it's become a bit of a dry track. And as such, now I've landed with Shabao. I think he can run well first up, but I'm excited to see what he can do this preparation. Obviously, I know he's being targeted towards the Melbourne Cup, but look, I think that he's full of class. He gets back onto that sort of firm going. He's had 9 starts on a good track for 5 wins and 3 placings, almost flawless. So I'm excited to see how he goes. And William Pryke in the saddle, he'll give his all to try and win the race. So he goes on top for me ahead of number 3, Order of the Garter, who I was relatively keen on last week. I had it in my top 3, and I'm going to do that here again. I think it can bounce back off its first up run last start, where it was its first up run in nearly 2 years. So he's going to obviously get a lot more improvement out of that run there, and he'll run a much better race here. He's obviously got a decent second up record, 1 start for 1 win. So I think Order of the Garter can run well. $3.20 obviously is the favourite, and I think there's a couple others who have better chances, but do respect him as a quality horse that he is. Number 1, Young Rascal, does go in for third for me. He has to carry 62 kilos first up, but has a lot of ability. And we saw that last preparation with some good wins. Beat the very good star-studded field at Rose Hill, where it beat Mugatoo, who finished in for second. Mugatoo's a star, so then it went into the Sydney Cup over 3,200 metres. Wasn't too good there. Just didn't quite run out the distance. But look, Young Rascal's got plenty of ability. Probably would have preferred a rain-affected track, but I still think he can run well enough. He's a very good horse, and he's paying $7.50, so he goes in for third for me. And then in for fourth, I've got number 11, Admire Winner, who I thought was a decent run first up at Moonee Valley, finishing fourth behind Algalau and Prince Iggy. Getting improved massively off that run. Second up here, gets onto a firmer track. I think we'll see a bit of a better run from it as well, with Damien Lane in the saddle. But recap the numbers for me. Look, I'm relatively keen here on number 9, Shabao. I think it's one of my best bets of the program. Ahead of number 3, Order of the Garter, in for second. In for third, I've got number 1, Young Rascal, and in for fourth, number 11, Admire Winner. Now, the other Paul Pruska runner, Admire Robson, I was relatively keen on last week as well. Could run a really good race. It's had 4 starts on a good track for 2 wins and a placing, and its overall record's really good. It's only missed a placing twice from 10 race starts. So to be $71 in a race like this, and I have seen it's been spec'd in from 100 to 1 to 71. I definitely have something each one, and I just think that that's well over the odds about this horse as well. I haven't got it in my top 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if it can run a drum in this race. So a bit of a watch on it. I think it could potentially run a lot better than its price suggests. Moving on to race number 6 now. We are getting into the main races of the program, and we're looking at the Heath 1100 metre race here. Group 3 level. Look at the speed map. Dollar for dollar, I think will lead off the inside barrier. Martiano will be rolling forward. Bankroll will be up there. As will Crystal Dreamer, Runston, and even Diamond Effort will try and roll across as well. So I think all that speed will really suit up nicely for my on-top selection here. And I'm going to stick with the same one I had last week, and it is number 12, Hummer, who is really good fresh. 5 starts first up for 3 wins and a placing. Look, she's won well here at the track before. She's obviously going to enjoy having the firmer track. She's had 18 starts on a good track for 5 wins and 7 placings, and I just think she's ready to go first up. Her jump out at Mornington was extremely sharp. I'm not going to talk about her too much because it's basically the same comments I said last week at Moonee Valley. She looks to be ready to go first up. It was an extremely sharp piece of work. She let down in that jump out so well. She got after a little bit of effort, and she just accelerated and showed that turn of foot that we know that she has, and I think she's ready to go, and she's been wound up for this first up assignment. So she goes on top for me, ahead of number 8, Dollar for Dollar, who I think is massively over the odds. Has a really good first up record, 5 starts for 3 wins and 2 placings, 2 seconds first up. So, and it has barrier number 1 as well, Jamie Carnes saddle. She's absolutely flying. The Tony and Calvin McAvoy stable as well, flying. So $21, massively over the odds about this horse. So I'm going to have it in for second, and I'm going to have something each way on it, as well as number 12, Hummer. Number 2, Superstorm's an interesting runner for me, with William Pryke in the saddle. Comes in this first up. Showed a lot of ability last preparation. Obviously came over here, finished second behind Alligator Blood, and then finished second to Regal Power in the All-Star Mile. So we know his ability, and I'm excited to see how he goes tomorrow. $6.50 is a good price about him. it probably is a little bit short of his best, but I expect him to be rattling home late into the placing. So he goes in for third for me. And then in for fourth, look, it was a bit of a toss-up between number 13, Diamond Effort, and number 14, Lyre. And I've rolled with Lyre just for the simple fact that I like her barrier a lot better than what Diamond Effort's got. And at barrier 15 at Caulfield, with all that speed drawn inside, is going to be pretty hard for her. And he's going to have to be an absolute magician, Ben Melham, to get her into a very good spot in the run. So, which he can do. He is a star jockey, and in saying that, she has been well backed, number 13, Diamond Effort. So, in from 950 if it's 550. But I just think that Lyre showed a fair bit last preparation. I was quite impressed with some of her runs. She finished second at Bella Vella in a Group 1, and then she finished third to Trekking and Guitra, of course, in the Goodwood. So, look, she's got elite form, and if she can show that first up here, she'll be ready to go. And look, I think that barrier number 2 is a tricky draw. But I think that with all the pace on, she might be able to roll up the inside and get a gap and sprint through like she has done here at this track before. So she's my fourth selection. Like I said, I think Diamond Effort could also run well, but just worried about that barrier draw. And Garner's the other one who I think can also run pretty well first up. But look, I'm very keen. I think that Hummer Hummer's really good value here. I loved her jump out, and I think that she's got a great fresh record, and she can run a bold race from the perfect... it's not the perfect barrier draw. She probably would have preferred to be out a bit wider, but she has a decent enough draw. I think she can get a toe into the race and have all the tempo to come in and finish over the top of him. So she goes on top for me, ahead of number $8 for dollar. I think it's great value of the on-speed runners. I think it'll be the one that'll stick on. In for third, number 2, Superstorm. Well, like I said, I think will rattle home late. And then for fourth, number 14, Lyre. Moving on to race number 7 on the program now. It's the HDF McNeil Stakes over 1,200 metres. Very good field, this one as well. Obviously, we get to see the return of Blue Diamond horse Tagaloa. Look at the speed map. I suggest that Immortal Love, Ranting, and Hard Landing will probably all be up challenging for the speed. Tagaloa will probably sit in behind them and try and find a bit of cover in the race. Loca and Crosshaven will be interesting to see what they do off the inside 2 barriers, whether they roll forward and try and make some of these more fancy runners work or not. But look, I'm keen on number 3, Our Playboy. I can't really understand how this horse is $8 again. It was absolutely superb last start. It absolutely flew home over the top of him and beat Ranting, and I think it was Rulership in that race as well. That was a terrific run, and I just think that he's over the odds again. The market's forgotten about him considering how good he was last start. Ben Melham's in the saddle. I think it's a really good barrier number 15. Going to be able to roll towards the back and get a swing to the outside, try and get him to do exactly what he did last start. And I think second up here can run a good race. I just think well over the odds, the $8, number 3, Our Playboy. In for third, look, I've got number 10, Immortal Love. I think this horse also is a bit over the odds. I really loved its win at Flemington on the heavy track. Absolutely made a mess of him that day. He's a serious racehorse, and I'm really keen to see how he goes first up here. Obviously, is gelded now. He's jumped out really well leading into this, so I think that he'd be right and ready for a first up run, and he goes for second. In for third, I have got number 1, Tagaloa. Obviously, he has to perform first up with the weight, but he's obviously a very good horse, as we know, and he is better than these, in my view. And I just think that he's obviously got targets further down the spring. I'm just not sure if he's going to be ready to go first up, so 370, I'd rather look elsewhere. The other one that I'm quite keen on is number 11, Ranting. Obviously, it was a pretty good first up run at Caulfield, just narrowly beaten by Our Playboy. And look, gets that little bit of weight swing, I believe. I think Ranting goes up 1 kilo, whereas Our Playboy goes up 2.5. So yeah, 1.5 kilo weight swing towards Ranting. So $9.50, yeah, it's probably about the right price between it and Our Playboy. I'd probably be having a bit of an each way spec on the two of those, and Immortal Love if you like them out there. Any of those ones, I think you can get a return off either of those 3. So take whatever you guys like out there. Like I said, it's not necessarily something you've got to follow me in on. The other one that I am keen, I do think will run well, is number 6, Rathlin. I can't really understand how he's so over the odds. He's got a lot of ability, and he brings in some different form. And the other one who I thought I have forgotten about and is paying some pretty good odds is number 5, Larimer Street, who finished 5th behind Our Playboy, Ranting, and Our Playboy and Ranting. Only finished 3.1 lengths behind Our Playboy and is paying $34 here. So, yeah, look, pretty over the odds about it as well. Flying Awards got a lot of ability. So, as you can tell, this race is really open. I haven't even spoke about Crosshaven, who's got 2 wins on the board at the moment from 2. So, there's some really, really strong runners in this race, and that's why I've looked around Tagaloa. I just think that this race being so open is something I'm going to go wide in the quaddie in, and it's something that I just wouldn't be jumping into Tagalora at the favourite because there's so many chances in it. So I've gone with a fair bit of value in this leg as expected. Number 3, our Playboy on top for me, ahead of number 10, Immortal Love, and for second. In for third, number 11, Ranting, and in for fourth, I've got number 1, Tagaloa. Moving on to race number 8 on the program now. It is the Group 3 Heatherly Stakes over the 1,700 metres, and pretty good field here. We've got the 17 to go around. Look at the speed map. It's Jess Saccone, Hackey, and probably Dr. Drew will be the main speed factors, and Think We're Due will probably try and roll towards the pace as well. I think they'll be the only main speed influences in this race here to speak of. Now, a really good race, this one, but look, I'm very keen on Gamekeeper here at the $3.90. I think it's got a great chance. I loved its run first up on Home of the Brave and Great Again. It was a terrific run. He absolutely flew home. Look, Damien Lane rode on that occasion. Luke Curry jumps in the saddle, but I'm not too concerned about that. Luke Curry's been the main jockey for Tony and Calvin McAvoy for some time, so I'm not surprised that he's jumped back in the saddle. And to be honest, that's I see that's a bit of a statement of intent. I think that he's going to win this race and he'll be hard to beat. So he goes on top for me. Ahead of number 17, In Good Health, who I was going to have further down on my numbers, but I just think that he's got a good chance here. I can't really understand how he's $46. He's come up against some very good horses, but a lot of these are stayers that are going to get better the further into their preparation they go and the further they get out in distance. Whereas In Good Health, I think Peter Moody's got him actually primed for this type of race. And look, I think he's got a really good chance. He obviously is probably a little bit better with the sting out of the ground. His last 2 runs have been fantastic since he's joined the yard. That third first up at 50 to 1 at Flemington was nice, and then the last start performance was terrific, beating Reckoning at Sandown. He's going to have to go that next level, but he's on the improve, and I really like the direction he's heading, and I think that Peter Moody's, he obviously is a very smart trainer, and $46 about it. It's just a little bit over the odds, so it goes in for second for me. In for third, I do have number 8, Saccone, who I think will run a good race, but obviously is a horse that probably prefers a little bit of toe out of the ground. It was only narrowly beaten last week in the 2 weeks ago in the PB Lawrence Group 2 race by Savatiano. So fair drop in grade here for Saccone, and obviously will work in its favour a fair bit, and definitely has a good chance. So it goes for third. And then over fourth, I've got number 11, Plenciel, who I think obviously a lot of punters are not going to want to back up after last start where it got rolled at the shorts, including myself. But is paying $9 this time around, and obviously Damien Oliver sticks the ride, so must be a decent chance. And you often see it with these horses, they get rolled at the short odds and they come out at 10 to 1 and they win. So this horse is 9 to 1, definitely has a good chance. But look, I'm going to roll. Look, no disrespect to a lot of the top weights in the race. They're all got plenty of ability, like Mirage Dancer. Hackey is $61, which I think is ridiculous, but obviously looking for further. Steel Prince, $35, and but these horses, they're all looking for, like I said, further distances. They're looking for further races in their preparation. I just think that some of these horses that are more rock hard fit and ready and probably primed for this type of race will be able to take it out. I think Gamekeeper is one of those, so $3.90 on top for me, ahead of number 17, In Good Health. I thought it's really good value at $46. In for third, number 8, Saccone, and in for fourth, I do have number 11, Plenciel. Now moving on into the Memsie Stakes, the Group 1 race here. Obviously a bumper field. It's mainly the PB Lawrence Take 2, but there's a lot of these that have also chimed in. A couple of them first up. A couple have come over from South Australia with Big Behemoth. He's ready to go. The likes of Princess Jenny and Glenfiddich, obviously the young 3-year-old getting a start in this race here. So really exciting and really good race to pull apart here. Look at the speed map. I'd say Be Good Tumalo will roll towards the top, as will Iconoclasm. Savatiano, Streets of Avalon's going to have to do a bit of work for that outside barrier to roll across and get in a position. Could find itself trapped wide. Look, you probably want to be relatively wide in this race here, but I don't mind Mystic Journey's barrier here, and I think she's got a chance second up here. I think she'll run a much improved race. She's 4 starts for 3 wins and a second up. And look, her fresh record isn't that great, so I'm not overly bothered on her first up run. I was expecting a little bit more, but in the end, the leaders kind of pinched it, didn't really give anything back in the race a chance. I don't think that she'll be taken to the back this time around. I think she'll be up a bit closer towards the pace, and I think she'll be able to get herself into the race and be able to track up behind the speed, hopefully from that barrier, and could be able to get that gap that she gets through and lets down and shows us what she's made of, because we know how good of a horse she is, and I think she can bounce back here second up. So she goes on top for me. Like I said, she does have further things in mind, but she does have a good chance. I've got number 12, Arcadia Queen here. I think she's also got a very good chance. Gets back on top of the ground, which is much, much better. So 9 starts for 6 wins and a placing. I mean, she's a horse that's really lightly raced for a 5-year-old, really. She only had the 10 starts, so I'm really keen to see what she can do second up here. She was a good 5th first up in the PB Lawrence, so I think she'll run really well here as well. So $7 about her, very nice price. They're the two I'm very keen on. Obviously, Behemoth was enormous. That was a very good win at Moorfield. He's always had the ability and the talent. Be interested to see how he goes here. I do think the 420 is a bit short about him. There's some serious talent in this race, but I do think that he has probably been prepped for a race like this, whereas a couple of these other ones are probably looking for races a bit further down the line as well. So, look, Behemoth goes in for third. The other one that I don't mind at a bit of a price as well is number 6, Mr. Quickie. I think can run a decent race first up as well. I know Phil Stokes, last preparation, he didn't really hit his straps. He had a good second at Caulfield before he got spelled behind Sentimentals, but he obviously the 2 early runs were very disappointing from his standards. But the interesting thing with him is that, look, he obviously has a lot of ability. He's very good here at this track, and he's very good at this type of distance range. He actually tends to run pretty well at the 1400 metres, so he could run a good race from a good barrier draw with Dwayne Dunn, the saddle, who's flying, and he is booting home a few roughies, Dwayne Dunn, so wouldn't be surprised Mr. Quick run a bold race. He goes in for 4th. The other chances, look, Savatiano, I was very keen on her last start. Obviously, she got the chocolates, which was terrific. I was stoked with that. She does have a good chance again. I just don't like her $5 this time around, whereas I did the first time, because I think that a few of these other ones will show some improvement, as will she. But I do think that I guess I'll look at the likes of Mystic Journey and Arcadia Queen at the 7 and 9.50, and I just think that they can show that little bit extra improvement from last start. They can get a little bit closer to the likes of Savatiano. So Savatiano has a good chance again. I just think that a couple of these other ones might be able to go past her this time around. So she goes not in my top 4, but I obviously have a massive respect for her. Regal Power, obviously looking for a bit further, but will be much better second up as a 2 from 2 fresh record. William Pike's in the saddle, so got to give it a bit of respect at the $16. And the other one who I think is a very good chance, I think Princess Jenny is massively over the odds here. I know she's a horse that tends to get better the further into her prep she goes, but look, she's got a good chance here. She obviously has Group 1 quality. She's going to be pretty good to beat these, but I wouldn't be surprised if she can run a bit of a place potentially as well. So, look, very keen on number 11, Mystic Journey on top, ahead of number 12, Arcadia Queen. They're the two I'm very keen on in the Memsie, so they go on top for me. Ahead of number 7, Behemoth in for 3rd, and in for 4th, number 6, Mr. Quickie. Moving on to race number 10 now. It is the Cochran Stakes, the final event of the program. I'm going to roll through as quick as I can, so I am starting to run out a bit of time, and I do not want to have a part 2 to this video for about a minute or two, and I'm sure you guys don't either. So Felicia will roll to the top, as will She's a Thief, Muse, Clarice Cleefs, and Madame Rouge from the outside barrier. I think they'll all roll forward now. Look, I'm gonna back up with number 12, Bless Her here. I really can't establish the 650 again. She's in terrific form. She was terrific last start, and look, she does come onto the dry track, which is the only query for me, but she's well drawn to run well again, so she goes on top for me at the 650, ahead of number 1, Rubisaki, who obviously you have massive respect for, and she's a very good horse, and just don't like the barrier draw, but she has a huge chance. She goes in for 2nd at 270. Number 4, Perfect Jewel, who I think has got a very good amount of ability as well. Coming back from back to 1200 metres, so probably not its most ideal distance range, but I still think she can run well at the $11. So she goes in for 3rd. And then in for 4th, I've got number 2, Pretty Brazen, who she's pretty talented in her own right, has a very good fresh record. So recap the numbers for me there. I've got number 12, Bless Her, on top, ahead of number 1, Rubisaki, in for 2nd, in for 3rd, number 4, Perfect Jewel, and in for 4th, number 2, Pretty Brazen. So, as for my best bets of the program, best value bets, look, I could go a fair few ways here. I'm going to roll with number 2, WT, in race number 1. Think's got a very good chance. So one of my best bets of the program, race number 1, number 2, WT at the $5.50. The other one that I was quite keen on is in race number 6, and it's number 12, Hummer at the $8. Think she's great value. Could easily go a best value bet, but I'm going to make her a best bet. So it's race 6. and it is number 12, Hummer Hummer. Best value bets the program. I'm going to go in the Memsie race number 9, and it is number 11, Mystic Journey at the 9 foals 50. And the other one that I was quite keen on is in race number 10, and it is number 12, Bless Her. So there, that is my preview of the program at Caulfield. Thank you so much for tuning in. Obviously, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social media on Facebook, and Sealand Race Tips on Sealand Racing Tips on Facebook, and Sealand_Racing Tips on Instagram. Subscribe if you're new here. Please go and check out my Rose Hill meeting if you're keen on that. Hopefully you're going to find plenty of winners tomorrow. Enjoy the terrific racing on the card. Just really quick, actually, I will roll through my Quaddie selections for tomorrow. I will also post it in the description. Just be wary that I will be making changes to it by tomorrow, obviously with all the scratchings and whatnot that will occur in the race. So just bear with me. I'll get my quaddies for tomorrow. So looking at the early quaddie for tomorrow, I've gone relatively wide in the first couple of legs. I've race number 3, leg number 1. I've gone 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 14. So that's 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 14. Leg number 2, race number 4, 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11. So it's 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11. In race number 5, I have gone quite short on that one. 1, 3, 7, and 9. So just 1, 3, 7, and 9 in leg number 3, race number 5. And leg number 4, race number 6, I've gone 2, 6, 8, 12, 13, and 14. So it's 2, 6, 8, 12, 13, and 14 in the race in leg number 4, race number 6. So around $150 will get you about 14%. If you went around that sort of $100 mark, you would get around the 9% as well. So I think that's good enough. I think there's plenty of value early in this program. So you probably don't have to chop out too much to get a pretty good return if we hit that quaddie there. So look at the late quaddie on the program. I'll just put that together now and give you those selections. So again, similarly, look, I've tried the best I can to narrow it down, but I really do think that there's going to be some big quaddie payouts tomorrow because there's plenty of value in the meeting. I'm not overly keen on a whole lot of the favourites tomorrow, and quite a lot of races have $5 favourites, so I think we're going to get some juicy dividends tomorrow. So as such, I think we can play quite wide and hope for a fair few rough results. And so as such, I've gone in leg number 1 in the late quaddie, race number 7. I've gone 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 10, and 11. So it's 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 10, and 11. In race number 8, leg number 2, I've gone 8, 11, 14, 16, 17. So that's 8, 11, 14, 16, 17. Leg number 2, race number 8. In leg number 3, race number 9, I've gone 1, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that's 1, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then in race number 10, I've gone 1, 2, 4, 11, 12, and 14 in the final leg. So that's race number 10, 1, 2, 4, 11, 12, and 14. $150 will get you around that 10% mark, which I actually think is more than enough. So, because like I said, I really do think that we're going to get some pretty big dividends tomorrow, more than likely. So hopefully we can nail one of those, and hopefully we can find plenty of winners tomorrow. There's a lot of value on the program, and I'm sure if we just nail a couple, that'll be it for the day. So hopefully you enjoy the terrific racing on top of punching on it, and I really appreciate any of you that have stuck on this long for the video. Obviously, I did my best to go hard and quick through it, but I'll tell you what, it's quite tough because I'm not going to lie, I really enjoy breaking down each race. It is really an intriguing part of this sport, and it's why myself and all of you guys, I guess, love it so much, because it's just, there's so much to talk about in each race. There's a story in each runner. There's something to break down, and there's so much that goes into finding winners of races. So good luck if you're playing tomorrow. I really appreciate you tuning into the video. Like I said, keep an eye out for the Rose Hill video. Apologies once again that this is out so late. Hopefully you can get onto it ahead of tomorrow. I'm going to do the best I can to, I guess, try and get videos done as quick as possible. But I will just give you a little hint that over the next few months, as much as I know spring racing is about to start, I'm probably not going to be extreme. I will try and get a video out every single week. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to get it out extremely early, because I'm going to be quite busy doing a little bit of work with certain media organisations for the spring carnival coming up. So I'm going to have my hands full doing things like that with them. So I just need to let you guys know that I will do my best to try and still get these videos out for you, but apologies if it's like this one where it's a little bit behind and a bit late. So just keep an eye out. Obviously, click that notification bell if you like. You'll get a notification as soon as I put out the video. But if you subscribe and you keep checking Instagram, YouTube, I'll always have it out either Thursday night or Friday night. It will be done. So good luck if you're playing tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, and all the best, and have a great weekend.